Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy TCG Tyson here again. And today we're going to talk about some Phantasmal Flames. You saw in the thumbnail. Now, I did clickbait you a little bit. It's not actually going down to MSRP, but we do have an interesting topic today, trying to use some historical data from the last couple generations to see if this is a actual good investment play based on main sets that are based around a Charizard card and how they perform around the other sets in the generation. So before we get into it, please make sure to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and go ahead and leave in the comments what you want me to talk about next. If there's anything you want me to go look at as far as the market goes, or any different things you want to see from the channel. But let's go ahead and clear up my clickbait real quick. So the chart, here's your MEO2 box Phantasmal Flames. It is still on pre-sale technically, but you could have got it at a local game store that hosts pre-releases as of yesterday. It's Tuesday when I'm recording this, and I gave you kind of this back half of the chart. I took the screenshot on Monday, and we've already corrected as of the 11th. We had dropped down to 289, 289, and we're back up to that 310 mark. So nowhere near MSRP. Don't think it'll be there anytime soon. If you look at the overall market crash or correction as a whole, it was just that. It was a correction. We dropped a little bit. Some things dropped harder than other things. Maybe those things should have never been that expensive in the first place, but we've already kind of stabilized across the board. So the only people who are freaking out, having a bad time during that, is folks who are over leveraged, in on bad debt, didn't have the actual cash to invest, right? If you were somebody who was not over leveraged, you had your emergency fund, all that stuff, you're fine. But what I've done is I've made a spreadsheet from starting in the Sun and Moon era. That's the kind of the beginning of my knowledge as far as the market goes, all the way to the Scarlet Violet era, the one that we just came out of. And we've taken the master set value found on pkmn.gg, booster box and ETB value, taken from TCG Player, and in the Sun and Moon era, it's TCG Player slash eBay, because there's a lot of more variance because these sets are older. And then we took the Charizard value from TCG Player, and we've broken it down, kind of the performance of the Charizard set in relation to the rest of the era. So let's go ahead and get it started. What I've done, all the main sets, and we're only going to talk about main sets today because main sets are the only sets with booster boxes. So we're going to make sure that we talk about kind of the bread and butter investment, and special sets are a little different. Special sets, now we have Pokemon Center ETBs. We haven't always had those. Special sets, even if they are based around a Charizard, generally have other chase cards that go in with it that can raise the value of the set. So we're not going to quite look at those, but we're just going to focus here. So the first Charizard that we're looking at is from Burning Shadows. This is the Rainbow Zard. I'll flash it on the screen here. We look at Burning Shadows. You've got a $1,000, almost $1,100 booster box. You got a $1,300 master set, and you've got a $250 ETB. And also, just for reference, if you see an ETB with a dash in the middle, it's because there is a split ETB for that set. And then if you see one with a hyphen, it's because there's a wide variety of prices, even on the booster boxes, where it kind of just depends where you get it, who you get it from. So that's why you'll see some of that there. But what I've done is I've pulled up the value of that card and said, I wonder what percentage of the booster box this card is, right? In the case of Burning Shadows, it's about 50%. It's a little under 50% of the value of the entire box. What this shows is that this is very Charizard heavy. This is the only chase in the set really is the Rainbow Zard. And that's why I pulled up the next most expensive card, which is a Gold Fairy Energy. It's about $90, right? $89. So this set, when we look at some of the other sets in here, you'll see that it's actually in the bottom part of the expensive of the boxes, right? Of if you would have invested at this at MSRP, your return would have been crazy. There's another set with a Charizard in it that people really like. It's the Rainbow Reshiram, and that's a $207, almost $208 card in Unbroken Bonds. Now, Unbroken Bonds is a $2,200 booster box. This only makes up a little under 10% of the value. Now, when you look at the actual most expensive card, this Guardian Sylveon, it is $562. So we're less than half of the actual most expensive card value in this Charizard, which means that there are way more chase cards in this set. The set's not really based on Charizard as far as the hits go, even though Charizard's on the ETB, I'm pretty sure, or Charizard and Reshiram are on the ETB, I'm pretty sure Charizard and Reshiram are on the front of the booster box, but it doesn't matter. The cards that are the actual popular cards, or the actual chases that have value, have nothing to do with Charizard, right? This got very interesting to me when I took this and sorted it from lowest to highest. So Burning Shadows, even though you've got a chase Charizard and the Charizard is 50% of the chase, you're actually only the fourth cheapest set, right? Versus something with way more chase cards like Team Up and Cosmic Eclipse. If you had invested in these at MSRP, your money would have been astronomically up, right? The sets that don't have a Charizard in them, they come way later in the generation. The Cosmic Eclipse being the last set of the generation. So it's been a theory for a while that Pokemon does their best work towards the end of a generation, and I think that it's shown over these last couple generations that it is 100% true. That the best work from Pokemon as far as collectible sets and the artwork come at the end of a generation. And you see the first couple sets for Sun and Moon are down here at the bottom. They're the 4 cheapest sets, right? And this will be consistent throughout the data. When we move to Sword and Shield, you've got 2 sets again. One set actually based around Charizard, and one set that Charizard is the most expensive card in, so almost the exact same wrap as Sun and Moon. Darkness Ablaze. If you all remember Darkness Ablaze, there was a moment where Darkness Ablaze was super expensive. Darkness Ablaze and Champion's Path, but Champion's Path is a special set, so we're not going to talk about it. But now, it's a $327 booster box, $90 ETB. This ETB hasn't, I think it's actually doubled in price, because I think there were 45 at the time. But the most valuable card in it is the regular Charizard VMAX, and it's $47.87, or $45.87. That's about 14% of the box value. So we're not as lopsided as Burning Shadows was, but there's also not a lot of value in the set, right? This is the master set is way cheaper than the booster box by a little under $100. So this is showing that this box went up in price just because it got rarer, not because the cards inside of it are the chase. And the next most expensive card is less than half the price of the Charizard. It's a Rainbow Rare Butterfree VMAX, right? So this super weak set, the only chase in it was the Charizard. There's no other value in the set. When we come down to Brilliant Stars does not have the same kind of weakness as Darkness Ablaze does. You get a master set that's more expensive than the booster box, which means that the cards inside are valuable. People want them. You got an ETB that has definitely gone up in price. It's almost tripled in price at $125. You got a booster box that's way up in price. It's just under $500, and this is after it came down in the correction. The Charizard V alt art is the most expensive card in this set, and this is another thing to point out. By the time we hit Brilliant Stars, we have alt arts back. We got those back in Battle Styles, so there is way more chase for alt arts than rainbows. A lot of people did like rainbows, but the second alt arts came back, people switched up on rainbows. I remember, because Battle Styles is when I got back, and people immediately were like, get this rainbow out of here, give me the alt art Urshifu, give me the alt art Tyranitar, right? So Charizard makes up 70%. That 345, that's 70% of the value of a booster box. Booster box is at $489. What this means is, again, even though there's way more art in this set, like the Arceus V, this is the Arceus Altar Arceus V. It's a sub $60 card. It's barely almost touching $60. That means that this is a very top heavy set. It's not based around Charizard, but Charizard still ends up being the most expensive card. And when you look at that, it makes it perform worse. It just does, right? The box, comparatively to some of these other boxes, just isn't as high. Now, let me go ahead and organize this from A to Z. Again, we're in the same spot. Darkness Ablaze, the third cheapest set of the era. And then you got Brilliant Stars is kind of dead in the middle. And again, Brilliant Stars is not just a Charizard set. It has a lot more art in it than just the Charizard. But you could have been investing in something like a Fusion Strike, where the most expensive card in this set actually is the same price as a booster box. That Gengar VMAX is the same price raw as a booster box. Evolving Skies is an anomaly. We know that. Evolving Skies is way packed. I think Pokemon actually made a mistake by packing a set as much as they did with Evolving Skies, but that's neither here nor there. And again, you'll see as we get to the end of the era, you get some of the strongest stuff, right? You get Lost Origins, you get Fusion Strike, you get Evolving Skies, and as you're closer to the beginning of an era, like with Vivid Voltage, and I guess you could say Battle Styles is somewhat in the middle of the era, but you get cheaper stuff, right? So you would have done better not chasing the Charizard hype and going with stronger fundamental sets, way more alt arts, way more than just one popular Pokemon. Like, people like Arceus, but not as much as they like Charizard, not as much as they like Rayquaza, not as much as they like Gengar and Mew, not as much as they like Umbreon, not as much as they like Giratina, right? Like, some fundamentals could have told you, hey, this is a better place to park my money. Moving on to this era. Now, this era hasn't had time to really bake, right? Like Sun and Moon and the Sword and Shield era has. But coming out of it, a lot of it still applies, right? Obsidian Flames, third set of the era. You got a master set that's barely more expensive than the booster box. You got a Charizard that $73.61. This is the SIR Charizard, and it is a quarter of the box price. And then the next closest card is about almost three times less the value. It's the Gold Charizard at $26.39. What does it say? This says that the set is only being carried by a Charizard. There's really nothing else of value in there. I think the next most expensive SIR is the Pidgeot, and it's $13 or just about somewhere around there. There's nothing really else carrying the set besides that. Now, when I organize by A to Z, it's not as bad of a discrepancy. You actually see you end up in the fourth most expensive booster box. But remember, this has not had time to bake, right? There will come a point, like all these sets, Journey Together, Surging Sparks, still being printed, right? Paradox Rift, people don't really like that. Sword and Shield base. Sword and Shield base is a base set. Base sets are generally almost always the most affordable. Pokemon also printed the crap out of Sword and Shield base, so it's going to take time for that. But you see, as we get on the back half of the era, you got Destined Rivals. Twilight Masquerade is a little towards the middle / towards the end. Now, Paldea Evolved has that Magikarp that is the same artist that drew the Giratina V. So again, looking at some fundamentals, the art in Paldea Evolve goes crazy. The Twilight Masquerade art and the art rares go crazy. Destined Rivals has the Gen 1 hype and Gen 2 hype, because this has all the Team Rocket stuff. This has the Ethan's Ho-Oh. This has Cynthia's Garchomp, so that's Gen 4 hype as well. People love Cynthia and people love Garchomp as a Pokemon. Looking at the fundamentals here, it shows that, hey, sets with more stuff, with more hype, not just with Charizard in it, perform better. And I guarantee you, if we look back at this in 5 years, if we give it as much time as some of the Sword and Shield sets have had to appreciate, that it will hold true. Obsidian Flames will probably be down here in the fours, or in the fourth or third least expensive spot, and these boxes would have taken off, right? So what this data is showing me is that we can use these last generations to kind of predict what the next generations are going to do. So what I'm personally doing, the way I feel about Phantasmal Flames, I think it is still probably going to be a decently liked set. I think that Charizard, the SIR Charizard, is going to be a $200 to $300 card raw for a long time. If you watch somebody like Nostalgianomics, he did his first Phantasmal Flames rip last night, and he pulled like 2 or 3 in the first hour and a half ish. So it's not that rare. Also, Phantasmal Flames is a tiny set, 90 cards before Secret Rares, the smallest set that we've had since the Heart Gold Soul Silver era. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if there are some cards that may become more expensive than the Charizard. Again, Scarlet and Violet has something different than the other two eras. We have art rares. Art rares take off. The most expensive card in multiple of the sets on screen right now is art rares. Paldea Evolved has the Magikarp. Paradox Rift, I believe, has the Groudon. It's the most expensive card, right? So using those metrics, I think Phantasmal Flames, if you're a person who buys a little bit of everything just so that you don't miss anything, cool. Do you go get a box? If you're a person who wants to tailor your investing to the best sets only, give it some time, right? Give it some time. If it, if you end up in a good deal on some, cool, but it's not the end all be all, right? And the Mega Evolution era is going to be a short era because we're probably going to have Gen 10. This is going to be like our Heart Gold Soul Silver era. So you got to be getting ready for the next gen, and you got to be getting ready for the end of Mega, which we just talked about. Pokemon produces their best work at the end of an era. So that's where I'm at with it, guys. Phantasmal Flames not going to MSRP, but also not the best investment. This isn't the Destined Rivals. This isn't the Evolving Skies. This isn't the Team Up or the Cosmic Eclipse. This is just somewhere in the middle. This is the Burning Shadows, right? So, again, thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. Join the Discord, new Discord link in the description. Starting that, trying to get that up. But again, thanks so much for watching. It's been your boy TCG Tyson, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.